In this tutorial, I will show you how to pick up objects, throw them, and even rotate them around, with no clipping or buggy player interaction. Real AAA quality. Also, all the code in this video will be available on GitHub, and a version with loads of comments explaining absolutely everything, so link in the description. First, let's get into the setup. I'm assuming you already have your first-person controller and an object you want to pick up. The pickup script is going to be on the camera of your character, so let's create that and first declare some variables. First, a public reference to our player, and a public transform hold pos. Next, back to the scene. Create an empty game object called hold position under the camera. This will be the position our object will be held at. Drag it in front of the camera to the distance you want the object to be held in front of you. On our pickup script, drag in the player and the hold position. Then let's go to our object we want to pick up. In this case, it's this cube. Create a new tag called canPickUp. This should be applied to all objects that you want to be able to pick up. Assign this to your object. The last bit of setup we have to do is create a new layer and a new camera. Why are we doing this? Well, this method involves making the rigid body on the object kinematic, and this allows for the object to clip through walls like this, which is something you might have encountered if you followed other tutorials before this. We don't want this to happen, so what we have to do is make a new camera and layer in order to always render the object in front of the walls or other objects when we are carrying it. So, make a new layer, I will call it hold layer. Then make a new camera under your current camera, I'll rename it to pickup camera. On the pickup camera, change clear flags to depth only, and the culling mask to only be the hold layer. Change the clipping planes to a smaller number, like 0.01, and change the depth to 1. Next, back on the main camera, under culling mask, deselect the pickup layer. So what we just did is make the main camera not render anything on the pickup layer, and make the pickup camera only render on the pickup layer. So the object we want to pick up will always be on top of anything else we are rendering. This technically doesn't stop the object from going through walls though, but that problem is dealt with in the code. Now onto the code. I'm not a fan of the old I type and then you type along with me tutorial format. I think it's boring and it just takes too long, so that's why I suggest you just read through the code and copy paste it from GitHub, where I've added a ton of comments explaining absolutely everything so that even a dog could do it.
If you in 2020 and your dog ain't typing your papers, you ain't living right.
I'm going to explain the rotation function though. The rotation is pretty project specific as it interacts with your mouse look script or character controller. This is because the rotation is done by using the mouse axes to apply rotation on the object, but you probably don't want the player to be looking around while doing this. Since it is project dependent, depending on how you input your mouse movement, it's going to be different for everyone. The way I would set it up is reference the script here, define the script in the start function by getting component from the player or whatever the script's on, either disable that script or change some values in the rotate function and then change them back just below. That's basically it for the tutorial. I made this because I couldn't find a non-buggy picking up tutorial, so if this helps you and you want to see more vids, like this video and subscribe, and if you have any suggestions for another tutorial, please comment it down below. See ya!